Women's bodies go through incredible transformations throughout life, from the teen years through menstruation, fertility, pregnancy, postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. Each stage brings unique challenges and nutritional needs. Today, we're breaking down every stage of women's health and the specific nutrients and herbs that support your body through each transition.
That's right. So if you are a woman or if you love a woman like I do, this video is essential. We want you to share this with anyone in your life and with yourself because this is information you won't get anywhere else.
Before we dive into specific life stages, we need to talk about two systems that affect everything. Again, as I mentioned, the thyroid and the adrenal glands, because these are the master regulators of women's health.
Absolutely. And before we do that, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Stephen Harkins. I'm Director of Education here at North American Herb and Spice. And this is Miss Judy, our CEO.
And founder.
And she is one of the only supplement owners that actually has her master's degree in nutrition. So you are in for a treat.
And I've been all over the world, 70 countries, looking around, studying, talking to the healers in all the various countries, how they use the natural forage and what have you to help people be healthy and strong.
So let's dive right in. First, and one of the most important topics is foundational, and that is your thyroid health. It matters deeply. Thyroid is involved in regulating our metabolism and energy, our body temperature, and hormone balance. And if you're experiencing any disruptions in that area, the thyroid can be a culprit.
Yeah, and women are 5 to 8 times more likely to have thyroid issues than men. I think that's really amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And oftentimes it's in the deficiency or sluggish, underactive thyroid. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. More often than hyperthyroid. It's usually hypo.
There you go. So, and some of those issues can involve fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, cold sensitivity, hair loss, and irregular periods.
And one of the reasons that we have so many problems with the thyroid, for example, is our diet. Where do you find iodine? Selenium may be a little easier to find, but I'll tell you what, iodine is virtually void in our diets. And iodine is normally from a source of kelp or seaweed. And it is absolutely mandatory for thyroid hormone production. And I have seen over and over again when women move from Japan because they get a lot of seaweed in their diet there, that they develop breast cancer.
Yeah.
And I find that really interesting because when they come here, they're not getting that particular very important nutrient in their diets.
Like you said, where do you get it from, and how many people even know that iodine is something that they're supposed to be getting, in general, especially for women's health, especially for the thyroid? There's a reason why over 2 billion people are deficient worldwide.
2 billion people are deficient. Isn't that amazing? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, we really need to clean up our act in the United States. We've got a lot of problems here. I know when I traveled to Europe, my whole everything, I feel better, I function better, everything, because I'm getting real wholesome nutritional food instead of, I don't eat fast food ever, but I can tell you, even that, I don't. By the time my food comes from California and it's on the road for 3 or 4 days, and then it goes into storage for another 2 or 3 days before it hits the grocery shelf. So by the time you're getting your food here in the United States, even if you're eating really healthily, it's probably up to 8 days old.
Yes, and so you're going to hear from us some of the things in your diet that's foundational that you should do and that you should not do. Certain nutrients that are non-negotiables that you must have. We just mentioned iodine. There's more to go. The good thing is Miss Judy and her foresight actually developed formulas that you can get from us that have a lot of these combinations together that are hard. It's already really hard to get in your food and your diet, and you can supplement with these. Stay tuned until the end. We'll divulge all of that, but we still have more to talk about. The next one that is a cofactor really with iodine is selenium.
And selenium is mandatory for converting T4 to active T3+. And you have to also have a healthy liver. So, that is mandatory.
Let's talk about why. Why do you need a healthy liver? What does that have to do with the thyroid anyway?
The liver is the workhorse of the body. It does over 500 different mechanisms. It breaks down our food. It supports the hormones of the body. It does everything. And it gets rid of all the garbage. If we ingest something that's bad, even poison, the liver is where it tries to factor it out. So it's probably other than our heart, I would say probably the liver is right there at the top of the list for our survival.
Yes, you couldn't have said it any better. The thyroid and the liver, they're absolutely connected in their function, and selenium is the bridge that connects these two.
Yes, and then also zinc. Zinc supports thyroid hormone synthesis as well.
Big time.
And B vitamins, especially B12, and so many people are B12 deficient.
Yes.
And it's really kind of interesting because even if you're ingesting B12, if you don't have the proper mechanism for breakdown, then you don't get it. Sometimes you even have to resort to shots.
Yep, spoiler alert, we do not recommend, Miss Judy does not recommend any synthetic B vitamins. Absorption is a key issue here. You should always get it from food. We were just talking about how difficult it is to find it truly in large amounts in food, but there are some things you can do, right, Miss Judy, that you can eat that you can get it.
Yes. I think the animal sources are a much better source than plant sources, but B12 is mandatory. And the first signs of that is you start getting tingling in your feet and you start having problems walking. The one problem with B12 deficiency, if you get to that stage, is they say it's irreversible. I don't know about that. I've seen some pretty strong cases come back, but that a warning alone is enough to tell you to get your B12.
Well, two things that you've always told me to do and to eat, and also for my wife, is good pasture raised eggs, and spend a couple extra dollars, get the good ones. And then also beef liver, which you can also take in the form of a capsule if you don't want to taste it or eat it. I prefer that myself. Beef liver has been a game changer. I know you take it every single day.
I do. And lamb liver is also a good source. It's also a clean source. But, you want your animals raised on a pasture. You don't want them fed GMO corn and all of that kind of thing. It's because what that animal, all the bad stuff it picks up, it just gets right back to you, particularly in the liver, because as I said, the liver's the workhorse, and it's in animal bodies, it's just as much as it is in ours.
And in case you're wondering, am I deficient? If you're feeling like your energy production is going down, that might be one way to know, but also you can look at your nails and see what color, what presentation they're showing. One thing you taught me recently is if they're slightly brown,
or even a grayish color,
you might have a deficiency in B12.
Yeah, and if you have tingly feet, you better think B12.
And so that's not the end of it. For the thyroid, there's another really important amino acid that is the building block for thyroid hormones, and that's L-tyrosine. Why do we care so much about L-tyrosine as a component to a healthy thyroid, would you say?
Well, it activates the mechanisms of that, the production of the thyroid hormone. So that is mandatory as well. And also ashwagandha is also very important for thyroid function.
But I thought it was just for the adrenals.
Well, when you address the thyroid, you need to address the adrenals as well, always. Because if you don't, then you can have actually the thyroid run, it gets totally out of balance.
This is a key point because we're looking at the endocrine system as a whole, not just the thyroid gland. Part of that system is indeed the adrenal glands that sit on top of our kidneys. So you've got to make sure you're nourishing and addressing them too.
Yes, and we have many products that will help address these issues as well. And they are not drugs. They are nourishment for these organs and also the glands.
Yes, actually everything that we do is real foods, real herbs, full spectrum, and we will be talking more about them. But the ashwagandha, for example, is something that is wonderful for the entire endocrine system. Both the adrenals and the thyroid are responsible for producing all of these different hormones. And so if you have a hormone imbalance, you need to look at both. And also the B vitamins that we talked about before, all of them, not only B12, to help with that.
Well, and I think that makes sense. I don't think any of us has an aspirin deficiency or a drug deficiency of any kind. But we do have nutrition deficiencies, don't we?
All over the place.
And it's easy to do, even if you think you're eating right. I hear people, I eat right. And it's like, how do you know that? Because if we ultimately can develop some kind of a little machine that we can pass over our food, and it says it has, X number of milligrams of this and that and all of that kind of thing, then that's the only time we can be sure that we are getting what we really need. Adrenal health is really important. It's particularly important to me because I happen to be an adrenal type. If this finger is longer than this finger, then you are an adrenal type. And that means that you have to be really careful with yourself about stress, and there's a couple of mechanisms that the adrenals address. And adrenal health, one of the reasons why it matters is that the hormones are a factor, the cortisol and adrenaline and the sex hormones are all very important because of, and the adrenals do over 60 different hormones.
That's right.
So,
even if you just took the cortisol aspect of it, if that's elevated for too long, that leads to things like weight gain and even heart problems and lots of inflammation. So anything out of whack there is a problem for you, and it can be a problem for a long time. And you may not even realize that it's the adrenal glands that are doing this. That's your stress hormone coping mechanism of the body.
And chronic stress depletes adrenals. It disrupts all the hormone balance. The symptoms are exhaustion. You can't get up in the morning. You just really, you just can't get out of that bed. Mm-hmm. You have high anxiety, salt you want, and then sugar, and then salt, and then sugar, and then salt. Yes. And difficulty handling stress, and mood swings, and just the hormonal balance. And for women, this is really important because it will affect the menstrual cycle.
This answers a lot of the questions of why am I this way? Like almost thinking that this is our new identity, and it's no, we have hormonal imbalances that just need to be addressed, and then we can get back to normal.
Those important little tiny glands make all the difference in our lives.
100%.
And it's the only gland in the body that if they take it out, you will die. That's how important it is.
And by the way, I always like to ask this question when I teach our staff is what organ or gland of the body that vitamin C is stored the most in? It's actually your adrenals. So if you want to feed and nourish it, you need to be taking more vitamin C. We mentioned the ashwagandha as an herb, but there are certain foods and nutrients that the adrenals just love and thrive on.
Pantothenic acid is another thing that the adrenals just crave. And I use royal jelly. That's the best source of pantothenic acid. And that even has a tiny bit of C in it. But we need vitamin C every day because it's a water-soluble vitamin. So, and the more stress you have, and if you smoke, then you are using up your vitamin C like that.
Also, if you eat a lot of sugar, you are also depleting big time vitamin C, and so most people need a lot more. And we develop both powder and capsules. I like the powder if you're really deficient, taking a couple teaspoons a day of that one. But there's a reason why this makes a big difference in the body. It helps with stress. Another one is magnesium. You know, most of us, there's about 50 or 60% of us walking around that don't get enough magnesium. Yes, it calms the nervous system, but it also supports a healthy stress response in the body and ultimately helps us to produce more energy. And it is needed, I believe, by the adrenals and also the thyroid, is it not?
Oh, what, there are like 650 different systems that magnesium supports. So you don't want to be deficient in magnesium. Also, if you start having arm or chest pain, then you definitely should take some magnesium immediately. You can stop a heart attack with it, believe it or not.
It supports a healthy regulation of your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your protein synthesis, your nerve impulses.
And remember, if you are eating junk food and lots of sugar, and who doesn't? I mean, if you eat processed food, you're eating sugar. They put sugar in everything. I mean, even things that you wouldn't even think about putting sugar in, like ketchup. You know, everything has sugar in it because it's addictive. And that creates that sugar craving. And so products sell when they've got sugar in them. Yeah. So that's why avoid sugar like the plague. You know, if you need a sweet, go to raw honey.
Yes, I was just thinking that. Raw honey is so amazing. It's, you know, it's downright medicinal when it's done rightly.
Now let's talk about the menstrual cycle. From the teen years through perimenopause, every phase has specific needs.
Indeed. You know, at the teen years and early menstruation, these are some common challenges. There's irregular cycles, that's more common than not. Acne and skin issues. Who hasn't
Adrenal
dealt with
issues, and that's adrenals.
There you go. Your endocrine system is not doing it very well. And then, of course, usually at teenagers, we're really eating processed foods and sugars too.
Junk, junk, junk.
And then there's, of course, cramping and discomfort that comes along with that, and mood swings, as if we already weren't dealing with that with our teenagers.
Well, some of the main things that we need during those teen years are, particularly once menstruation starts, is iron.
Big time.
Big time, yes. And this is from usually grass-fed liver, you know, from an animal who's eating grass, their own grass and all of that. You don't want one that's been raised on drugs and chemicals and GMO and all of that, because what did I say about the liver? That's where all the processing goes.
Yes, exactly. And yes, you're losing iron during the menstrual cycles, whether you're a teenager or an adult. So you've got to replenish that somewhere. And the body, it actually likes heme iron the most, and that type of only comes from animals. That's why we do love grass-fed liver, like New Zealand grass-fed liver, as a great support for that.
Zinc is another thing that we have. You can look at your fingernails again, and if you see white spots on those fingernails, that can mean fever, that you've had a fever, but it mostly means you have a zinc deficiency. And what we like is the Austrian pumpkin seed for a really phenomenal source of zinc. And then it provides wonderful other things as well, like protein and vitamins and minerals and other minerals. It also has iron as well.
Yes.
So you want that food source whenever you can possibly find it.
Yes, pumpkin seeds are like a secret weapon for all stages of what we're talking about. You know, iron is in there as well as the magnesium that we talked about earlier, and even just all the complete protein. We really love it. And it also has this next thing that we'll be discussing that's so key and no one's talking about it, which is omega-3 fatty acids.
Yes.
We have way too much of the other fatty acids and not enough omega-3.
That's true. And you know, we like the Styrian pumpkin seeds, be it from Austria. Those are the very best ones. That's a pumpkin that they have no covering over the seed. They're just absolutely the seed.
Yes.
But that is an amazing source of these nutrients that we need.
So
and as you say, with the omega-3s, One of our best sources is from sockeye salmon, and that is a really amazing source of the omega-3s. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, they help with the immune system, they make your skin beautiful. I mean, there's all kinds of wonderful things that omega-3s do, and we can't live without them. And you know what? We can't think without them, because that's most of it is used in our brains.
And once again, the animal-based source is really the top tier, because it does have the natural DHA and EPA that your brain actually runs on, all of the cells run on as well. But the Austrian pumpkin seed is a close second. And just to mention, we do it as a crushed powder, which actually aids in absorption instead of you just eating the seeds. So it's even a step up if you have a problem with digestion.
Oh, it's fun to eat. Tastes so good.
Nice and nutty.
Yeah.
And once again, magnesium comes for the win. In terms of cramping, magnesium supports the muscle contractions. So if you're having these cramping issues and this tension, you might just need more magnesium. If you're having more headaches, or if you're having a bad mood, magnesium is one of those things you can take. And I mean, within minutes or within that hour, I know I feel it. That's one thing I appreciate there. I feel it in my muscles, and I feel it in my nerves, my mood. So you can too.
And magnesium, there's various different sources. We use the 3 types of magnesium, Steve. What are those?
Oh boy, she's drilled this into me. So, well, first of all, don't ever use magnesium oxide. You only get like 5% absorption rate, so it really matters what type you do. The top 3 types you've taught me about and that we offer actually together in one package is magnesium threonate, crosses the blood-brain barrier. Magnesium glycinate is the most absorbed form you can possibly get. And then magnesium taurate, which supports our cardiovascular wellness. That's just tip of the iceberg, surface level, but it's total body wellness.
Yes. That really addresses our needs in the best way.
There you go. We'll put a link in this video as well, and we will show you at the end where you can find all of these great formulas. So one of the things I love about Miss Judy is that she taught me about B vitamins, to be or not to be. She taught me how important that group of vitamins are. Nobody really talks about it. It's the metabolic vitamins. Why are you so passionate about educating people about B vitamins?
Well, number one, B vitamins are water soluble, like vitamin C. So you need to replenish them on a daily basis. It's not, well, I ate, something really healthy yesterday or 6 days ago or whatever, and therefore I'm good. It's like, no, you got to do this every single day. B vitamins control our moods, skin, hair, all of our functions, and our nervous system. And it's, we are gone without our B vitamins. I mean,
yeah.
they control stress. I mean, everything. I can't think of anything that basically the B vitamins don't work in conjunction with in the body. I mean, they're direly important.
They're very important, especially in the early years, informative years, and then even beyond. Think B for brain. It's excellent for mental health, as you've taught me. We've seen people that have just been really unhealthy mentally, and alcohol and sugar, certain prescriptions, they can deplete your vitamin B levels. But if you start to put them back in, it's like a different person.
Well, thiamine it's the morale vitamin.
That's
B1. B1, yes. And just think about how many people are taking all kinds of antidepressants and all of that when they could just be really scarfing down the B1 and feeling so much better.
Now, we don't recommend going out and buying B1 and B2, riboflavin, and buying B12 all separately. These are all synthetics. We can do a whole video on how those are made. Don't want to do that. We want to give you the real thing all together, because the foods that have lots of B vitamins, like the beef liver we were talking about and others, they all come together, and that's how you should take it.
And we have a special product called Purely B that really, really does wonderful things for the body. So this is something, and you can use nutritional yeast and all of these different things, but you need to get those B vitamins every single day of your life. It's so important. And it will also help with the stress phase of the menstrual phase.
So next we're going to talk about the reproductive years, and this is something that I just went through with my wife. You know, we have a daughter, she's 2 years old, and you know, we followed the whole process from, it really starts at before conception, preparing your body to be fertile. You know, so many people think that they can't conceive or they're not fertile, but they just are nutritionally challenged, and there's certain things they need to remove from their environment. But here's something you should really focus on, and that's really during your menstrual phase. So you're in these reproductive years, days 1 through 5 of your menstrual phase. You want to focus on iron replenishment and inflammatory support. Can't stress that enough. Ms. Judy, you want to add anything to that?
Well, you know, the thing of it is, you're so right. You need to prepare. If you want children, you need to prepare for the pregnancy to actually happen. You know, if your body is not up to par, you will not have a pregnancy. And you have to nourish the body. And also, once a pregnancy occurs, you are feeding another being. So, you know, all of this nourishment's been going to be coming out of your cells. So, I mean, you need to make sure that you are really up to par, that you are the best you can possibly be before pregnancy ever occurs. And even if you don't have a pregnancy, that means you need to be healthier in every sense of the word, and you'll have less problems with your daily, you know, with your monthly cycle as well.
So what we're talking about is you're not necessarily pregnant yet, you're just taking care of your body during your reproductive years.
That's right.
So as we go into the next week of womanhood, we go into the follicular phase, it's called. This is days 6 through 14, and this is all about energy building and metabolism support. We talked about those B vitamins, we talked about the magnesium, the zinc, the iron, and the next one is ovulation. Very important. Now you're on day 14. This is peak fertility. So if you are trying to conceive, this is an ideal time window. You want to maximize your antioxidants in your diet. Ms. Judy, quick rundown on antioxidants and how they support women's health and the reproductive
Well,
phase.
antioxidant merely means that you're keeping it from breaking down. And so vitamin A, vitamin D, these are really important. Vitamin E is really, really important. These are fat-soluble vitamins. So, you know, this is something that, while if you're eating liver or something like that, you're getting a lot of these wonderful fat-soluble nutrients, but you need them to prevent oxidation of the cells.
Yep. Antioxidants, anti-aging, another great way to look at it. And, you know, the more healthy foods you're eating, you know, things like oregano herb, by the way, 100x the antioxidants of blueberries. And so certain herbs can even take you up there with the vitamins that you mentioned. So now going into this last phase, the luteal phase, days 15 to 28, this is all about PMS prevention and progesterone support and how you eat relative to that.
Well, the more junk, the more sugar, the more soda pop, the more all of this stuff that is...
You're going to pay the price.
Oh, if you want to enjoy your cramps, then, hey, just hit it hard, because you will be rewarded with severe cramps and all kinds of miseries.
So some key nutrients and foods and herbs that you can take during these 30 days as a whole. You know, some of those herbs we'll talk about first. Fennel, that's amazing. That supports bloating. That's really important for your digestive system. Fenugreek, blood sugar control, hormonal balance. Royal jelly, you know, this is the secret of the queen bee. She lives longer, about 40x longer than her worker bees, her subjects. Yes. And she also is constantly reproducing all the time. let's take a lesson from her. Every female, every woman should be on royal jelly.
Oh, she lives 6 years, the queen, and the workers live 6 weeks. Quite a difference, eh?
And the only difference between them that people, scientists, researchers have found is that her diet is different. So what you eat matters, even if you're a bee. And royal jelly is at the center of that diet. It's why it's royal.
And kelp is really important as well.
Yes.
Because again, we need that iodine.
Natural iodine. How many of you are eating kelp? We could at least supplement with it.
I think probably, the what do you call it? The little rolls that the Japanese eat.
Oh yeah, like sushi rolls. Yeah.
Sushi. That may have some raw kelp in there, but or
raw
maybe,
fish too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and we know raw fish, sometimes you can end up with parasites. So
just a quick note, children need iodine in their first 1,000 days of life. My child is eating seaweed. She loves it just because we started her off at a very young age. So it's very good for the children as well. And then of course there's ginger and turmeric. This helps to manage our inflammation before it even happens, ideally. But certainly when it is, when you have cramping and you're clutching your stomach, we love ginger and turmeric.
Yep.
They work well.
Absolutely.
And then there's wild yam. That can be good as a food to support healthy progesterone levels. So then you have that. And then calcium and magnesium, the calm minerals for PMS and cramping, as well as magnesium. So you can get magnesium, and really the best calcium source, because a lot of the stuff out there doesn't even absorb, is something called MCHC. And that's excellent because it has all of the ratio of the different nutrients with calcium our bodies need.
So much better than taking calcium supplements even. It really absorbs because the body recognizes it and takes it right into the trabecular part of the bone. That's the inner side, inside of the bone that gets really honeycombed. And that's where you break your bones and are in real trouble.
So keep watching until the end. We'll tell you about our excellent MCHC source as well. And now we're going to get into the actual fertility and preconception stage. And let's do it. Okay, this one's really important to me because recently my wife went through her 9 months of pregnancy, and even after that, she went into her nursing phase, which she's still doing. And she is an amazing woman. You learn so much being close up to them, and you learn so much about yourself. This was her first time ever being pregnant, and we didn't do the token prenatal, we did something better. And that's called Purely Pack. I'm just gonna tell you because it's so important as a foundational thing. This is something Miss Judy has designed. It has all of the whole food vitamins, nutrients, omega-3s, antioxidants, really everything. If you got one thing, one formula from us today, it would be Purely Pack to support all stages. But pregnancy, wow, how important can it be? There's so many things missing in those synthetic prenatals.
And, I'd say probably 99.9% of prenatal vitamins are all synthetic. And there is nothing like the vitamins and minerals that God made. And it's important that you are using the real thing, not the synthetic. The synthetic is a mirror image. And the body looks at it and goes, don't know what that is, but golly, I need something, so it will grab onto it. And whether it's, I was director of nutrition at the largest cancer treatment center in the United States. And the people would bring in their bags of all kinds of chemical vitamins and what have you. And they would ask me, how did I get cancer? And it's like, well, probably for a lot of reasons, because we're exposed to bad air, bad water, bad food, pesticides, herbicides, every kind of, bad thing that we possibly could that we didn't used to have many, many, many years ago. But I don't think synthetic vitamins are that much of a help. It may be better than nothing, but I'm not even sure of that. But I do know for sure and for certain that the real thing from plants and animals is what your body craves. And that's what makes it function the best.
There you go. That's what we as humans thrive on, is living nutrition. And if you care a lot about fetal development, you will definitely want to take a look at this and get the real thing. Another thing that you can do during early on, even first trimester, this goes back to the traditions of the Incan women in Peru, is you can take maca roots. Maca supports healthy hormone balance, libido, even when you're trying to conceive, fertility in general, and then just during the pregnancy. It's a cruciferous vegetable, go figure, and it has lots of B6. It's wonderful, and of course we do it in a powder form, and we even do it in drops. We use purple maca, which is a little more rare.
That's the best.
There you go.
And even for babies who have failure to thrive are fed maca to bring them back and bring them to life. Literally, that and royal jelly.
There you go. If you want to skip coffee today, you could just drink some maca, and it's naturally stimulating. So we love it around here, and you can drink it as a latte. You can put it in your smoothie, and it's got this nice butterscotch flavor.
And it makes you feel great.
It does. So zinc, once again, cell division, right? We need zinc for our DNA and our DNA production. It's critical for ovulation and conception. So you got to have more zinc. You can eat more beef, and you can have more pumpkin seeds. You can just take our pumpkin powder, our Austrian pumpkin powder as well, and then omega-3s.
Absolutely. And so many women are going for in vitro and all kinds of things today, which are painful. It's
expensive.
Yes, and it also, we have, years ago, it was 1 out of 6 when I first started into the nutritional field. 1 out of 6 people had cancer. Now we're down to, with all this cancer research, now we're at 1 out of 2, maybe going into 1 out of 1. So, when you are doing all of these chemicals and, especially trying to produce fertility and all of that, you are really opening up for some serious hormonal and health issues. So, you want a natural pregnancy.
There you go. You don't want any gene mutations lingering while you're going through this process, and that's where zinc and things like omega-3s come in as well.
And vitamin D for fertility is absolutely amazing. It's needed for the implantation of the egg and for the health of the pregnancy throughout.
Well, most people don't know that vitamin D is more of a hormone than an actual vitamin.
You're right, Steve. That's true. Most people don't.
And it's involved in thousands of hormone signaling processes. So if you don't have enough, that's just not a good place to stay in too long.
And again, royal jelly, I've used that and thyroid support for women who could not get pregnant. And they have one, he was a manufacturer of nutritional supplements. And he came and I said, "What's wrong, Gary? You don't look real happy." And he said, "Well, we've been trying to have a baby for a long time and we can't." I said, "Gary, you are a manufacturer. You should know that your wife needs thyroid support and also give her some royal jelly." Guess what? They had 10 kids now. So it worked.
Yes, RJ to the rescue. It will turn you from a worker bee to a queen bee real quick.
Yes.
So we love it. It's been good for my wife and I, and it's even good for the baby. We also give it to her.
Yes.
Little teaspoons.
Yes. And even your animals, believe it or not, it's that good.
Also, pregnancy and postpartum, that's a real issue. I don't think that's always mentioned, especially first-time mothers, but let's talk about the actual pregnancy essentials. We kind of mentioned already the Purely Pack. We mentioned the real whole food nutrition as opposed to, basically just getting nature's prenatal as opposed to the synthetic thing.
And those B vitamins, folate is particularly important.
That's
and
B9.
That's the real stuff, not the folic acid. And, you don't want neural tube development issues. You don't want B12, for example, is causes the cleft palate and the those kinds of issues. So I mean, bees are really important for the development of the baby as well.
Neural development, big time. You want oxygen. You want iron as well, so you can also increase blood volume, because during that delivery there will be some blood loss. A lot of times the nurses and doctors will look at your iron levels and they will threaten you. We've seen it happen to us. If you don't have enough iron by the time you deliver, they will pump some synthetic stuff into you. You want to avoid that. You want to get as much healthy iron as you can during the pregnancy.
And for the bone and brain development, you need the vitamin D.
Big time. So, ginger, also, morning sickness, serious problem. My wife hardly had morning sickness at all. Like, no morning sickness, but she loves ginger. She was constantly drinking ginger tea, taking our ginger and with our turmeric that we have, and no morning sickness. So, I'm not promising that, but it is possible.
I went to Sri Lanka, and that's where we get our ginger and cinnamon. And that is an amazing thing. This is fresh and raw, and I mean, it makes you feel so good. And it stops morning sickness. How about that? And then if you have red raspberry leaf, it's almost time for delivery, that is a really, really good tea, particularly to drink if you want to, you're getting really tired of being pregnant and you want it to be over with. Red raspberry leaf is absolutely phenomenal.
I'll throw a bonus tip out there if you're worried about C-section and issues during the actual delivery process. It's been shown in studies that women who ate more of the dates before they delivered actually had a better, smoother delivery. That's another one with the raspberry leaf you can take. And then lastly, iodine. It's a non-negotiable. How many American women are getting enough? There's 2 billion people deficient, as we said. This is very important during the prenatal time. The prenatals don't include iodine.
No.
At all.
None.
So you got to eat more eggs, but more importantly, you may want to supplement, and we got you covered with kelp and some other things in our formulas that we will be telling you at the end of this video.
Now we have postpartum recovery. And boy, that is a time when it can be pretty rough on mom. And she can be depressed, and she's got this beautiful little bundle of joy here who cries all night long and what have you. Yeah. So she's already tired. And if she's not nourished, and this is going to be a real tough time for her, particularly if dad isn't on the ball and helping out.
Yes. So, I went through that. I saw that. I witnessed it. And, also we need to make sure we take care of mom, and, don't let up on the beef liver or the pumpkin seeds. You're going to need that iron and other nutrients there. Collagen. Now we're going to talk about collagen as part of this repair. The body's trying to repair itself. Let's give it some help.
Oh, collagen is amazing. And we have a collagen drink now that is absolutely phenomenal. But I made a system where you take the collagen capsules that have also shilajit and other components that activate that collagen, and then you do the drinks a couple of times during the day, and the chocolate or regular flavor, you can put it in your coffee or your tea or drinks, or just by itself. And then again, a couple of the collagen capsules at night. And wow, are we seeing wonderful things. My hair, I started drinking it about 2 months ago, and I had short hair, and look, my goodness, it just grows like a weed. And the texture, everything about the hair is healthier and stronger, and it just makes a huge difference. And it helps with scarring. It helps with healing the skin. It has fenugreek, and we need vitamin E too, and all of these things help to heal the body, make mom stronger and feel like getting up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I hope you're nursing, because that is the key to your baby's good health.
Yeah, so while you're recovering and repairing and, you know, supporting your tissues and skin, and you're healing and you're taking all of the different nutrients that you were taking when you were pregnant to support the baby, now you're supporting yourself, and that's coming into the milk for the baby. So the baby's getting the best possible food they can early on.
Lactation is even harder on mom's body than pregnancy, believe it or not. So that's why you have to continue the good diet and supplements and exercise all during this time, so your body goes back to good health. And you know, the natives, Americans say that every time you have a baby, it's like you have a hole in your body. And that makes sense, doesn't it? If you are losing all of this nourishment, you have to be sure that you're putting in good things. I knew one of my neighbors one time said, "Oh, I ate pizza the whole time I was pregnant. My kid should look like a pizza." And it's like, oh, poor you and poor child, because this is just not what you should be doing. You must really address with great urgency the best diet and supplementation that you possibly can during that particular very important time.
And final thought, as far as mental health goes, you know, the B vitamins, they are so wonderful. Keep taking them. Also add that magnesium in, and then your adaptogens that help us adapt to the stress, give us resilience. Things like ashwagandha and even chaga mushroom, something else that we offer. All of these will help, and they will also help your baby. You know, I've seen babies that are very behaved, and you know, they seem to just be, you know, growing in strength and in wisdom. But I've seen other babies that are just like, it's constantly, they're upset, it's like mental health goes both ways for mother and child, and they're getting it through your milk and you're feeding it to him or her. So make sure you are adding those things in. And if you do that and you don't let up, remember, it starts before pregnancy. You're taking these things throughout pregnancy. You've had a healthy birth, God willing, and now you're carrying that into postpartum and to the child's development.
And if that baby's crying all the time, remember, it has adrenal glands too. So those need to be addressed, and that will make you a whole lot happier, I can promise you. Perimenopause and menopause. This is one of the most challenging transitions for women, but also one of the most transformative when properly supported. Perimenopause is a time, that is when things are starting to happen and you start being kind of uncomfortable with yourself. It typically starts sometimes it can even start in the 30s, but mostly in the 40s.
Yes, and it's characterized by fluctuating estrogen and progesterone that can last between 4 and even 10 years. Some of the common symptoms that you might experience or feel would be the irregular periods, hot flashes and night sweats, different sleep disturbances that are ongoing, mood changes for sure, anxiety, irritability, general brain fog, and weight gain, especially around the midsection. And that will also the other one is decreased libido.
You know, this is, you have to really sort of learn how to live with yourself all over again. And one of the things that I found, I had one hot flash and it's like, not doing this. So my key was royal jelly. And I started using that along with B vitamins and vitamin C. But royal jelly is the secret to never having a hot flash again.
There you go. And you know, royal jelly that's the premier thing. You're gonna hear that keep coming up in the different stages. It's almost like you need this for every stage, because you do. It's good for men too, but that's not the video we're doing. You know, when we talk about those hot flashes that are just so often characterized by this stage, one of the things that also helps is magnesium for sleep and mood. And then of course, bones. You know, you don't hear it talked about how as women start to get into that mid stage and on, bone health becomes a problem if not addressed the right way.
Osteoporosis is a real hazard for women, that's for sure. And it's that trabecular bone, that internal bone that starts breaking down and just becomes more and more honeycombed. And therefore you are, oh my goodness, hip fracture, all of these things that can actually cause death. So you want to be very aware of keeping that up to date for sure.
You want to be thinking again about collagen, because 40% of the bones are actually collagen. We lose that as we age, so we're going back to that. And then also the magnesium, even vitamin C, which actually a collagen doesn't absorb without. Fortunately, we actually already put it in our formula, so you're good to go. And then the MCHC that we were talking about.
We have a special formula for ladies that is just magnificent, and we'll tell you about that.
Yes, that's going to support all of the stages that we're talking about and has that royal jelly component, so stay tuned. And then now we're going into menopause.
And beyond.
So what's happening there, Ms. Judy?
Well, officially menopause after 12 months without a period is that's the end of the cycle, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And women are really feel liberated at that point. Many of them do, and so it's not a bad thing. It's kind of a time of renewal, and you don't have to mess with that monthly message,
Yeah.
So
the focus now is shifting to long-term health. How do I support my bone, my heart, my brain, and my organs?
That's right. And you do not have to age ungracefully. You can do this very well. You don't have to feel less energetic, less covered with wrinkles from head to toe and all bad kind of bad things. You can still maintain your health and your beauty and your skin and your life.
Well, I would say you're the walking proof of that. You are one of the most active people that I know.
Well, I'm still traveling the world and running a company and living life. So I can promise you, and we won't say what the age is, but it continues on, I can promise you. But you have to really nourish yourself. This is something that I learned. If I have really speeded up the nourishing part with supplements, and I also do fasting. So this is something that is really important as well. And what happens, particularly if you're adrenal type, you start looking like the apple shape. You start getting the frontal tummy. And that is easily taken care of when you're doing fasting, because all that visceral fat that goes around the organs, and it's dangerous. And it also, you don't want that. It's ugly and it's deadly. So when you're doing fasting and I actually use my supplements as part of my meals. I only eat one meal a day, and the rest of the time I'm using my supplements, because I know that it's going to be better than probably any food that I'm eating, at least North American Herb and Spice and other companies.
Yep, you take that Purely pack every single day faithfully. I know we've had many breakfasts where we just had our Purely pack and we were good to go for the day. It's got more than most meals contain. So you're going to want to focus on all of your nutrition, but specifically these areas really important for the bones and calcium utilization. Vitamin D. Vitamin D, you need to have that. You can get some in the sockeye salmon, by the way, which is in the Purely pack from a natural source. Go out and get that sunlight. Don't be afraid of it. And then also for the bones, we talked about the collagen, the calcium, the magnesium for that bone density. And then omega-3s, again, this is our hearts. This is our brain function. It's not just skin deep. And then also inflammation at large. You can take turmeric and ginger. I love it. But nutritionally, you must have these omega-3s.
Yes, that feeds your heart as well as the magnesium. And I use our particular real grape powder.
Oh yeah.
And it's the entire grape that is dried and ground, and that supports. It gives you chromium, and it gives you It helps the whole cardiovascular tree. So these are the things that I use to support my heart, my brain. Yes, I can still think, and all of these things are so important. If you want to be active and, live your life completely, then take care of yourself. Get away from the sugar and the junk and all the bad stuff, because, the body will show you just how fatigued and wrinkled and everything else that you can be. Yes, angry. I mean, that is a sign of liver issues when you are angry a lot. So, yeah.
Very good. All of the nutrition, all of the herbs, all of the formulas that we talked about in this video are all on the table here for you to see. And we want to talk about the nutrition first because that's foundational. So Miss Judy, I'll give it to you.
Well, as I told you, there are certain water-soluble vitamins that we need every single day. And we start out with, actually this is purely E, and E is a fat-soluble vitamin. But it's probably one of the most very important nutrients that we have, because every single cell of the body needs vitamin E. And there's a big difference. This one is a real E made from that Austrian Styrian pumpkin and palm oil, and then also we use wild rosemary. We have that's to help keep it stable, and we also have sunflower seed oil, which has the real vitamin E, and this is a very, very excellent vitamin E. No synthetics. We don't use synthetics, so that's what's really, really important. Vitamin C, again, we're back to real vitamin C, not ascorbic acid, which is synthetic, but real vitamin C from real food.
This is water soluble. This is something you need every day. We talked about the adrenal health. It also supports as an antioxidant. We talked about that. And you need it for your bones. You need it for your heart benefits. It just protects. It's a antioxidant, and that's what vitamin C is. So you can get it from foods. It's non-GMO, and yeah, this is great. This is actually our powder. I like to take 1 to 2 teaspoons a day of this, either in smoothies or just put it in water. And it's like a sweet tart kind of flavor. It's really good. The raw freeze-dried berries is the secret behind this one.
And you can even put it in warm water and drink it like tea. That's good too. But it's really, really important that you have vitamin C every single day, and your adrenals will be really happy too. Then the B vitamins, as I mentioned, B vitamins are needed for the nerves, for the moods, for the
metabolism.
Yes, the integrity of the cells, for beauty. That is, B vitamins, I think it should be B for beauty, don't you?
Beauty, B for brain, it's a brain food.
Yes, it is. And every single thing in here is a food source. So this is why you want this kind of B, not the synthetics.
I love that it has the full complex. You don't have to go out and buy all the synthetic isolates. You can get it all in one package.
Yes. And what is really exciting is I told you all about royal jelly. I kept talking and talking and talking about royal jelly. And we have the real royal jelly. And this is good for the adrenal glands. It's good for your beauty, your skin. And this, I have used it with people with panic attacks, if they have any kind of weakness, if you feel like you're going to pass out and you need to be revived, this is what I use.
It's excellent. I love it. I wouldn't do without it. Not only is it good for energy, it's also good for the men. So if your partner is struggling with sperm health or with general fertility or testosterone balance, it can also be used to help them too.
Yeah, this is a lifesaver, so don't forget that. And then we have Bone Active, and we talked about the trabecular bone. That gets into all those little honeycombs and fills it back in and makes your bones strong. And you need this as you're developing bone as a teen. You're needing it throughout your middle years and And if you're pregnant, you need it for your bones and the baby's bones. And for perimenopause and menopause, well, that's when we start losing bone mass. So the most, once your estrogen levels start to drop. So this is wonderful.
So just remember, Bone Active, that's that highly absorbable calcium type we talked about with the MCHC. It's right there.
Right here. And it's better than taking calcium. Calcium is not the total answer. So you need these various all-natural substances for your bones. This is my fun drink. I love this.
Yeah, this is amazing. I love it. You know, it's great for your joints, it's great for your bones, but of course, collagen is needed for your skin. It's in your retina, it's in your stomach lining. We were talking about this with postpartum and tissue repair, yes, but really for all stages of life. And as we get older, we lose more. So your teeth, all of these things are, and the great thing is, well, the not so great thing is there's a lot of collagen powders out there that don't give vitamin C, and it's completely useless. It doesn't absorb without the vitamin C component. We put the real camu in here. You get over 100% of your vitamin C, and you get multiple grams of the protein, the collagen in this one.
And enzymes for digesting it. So that is totally different than any other collagen on the market.
It's a true premium collagen that actually absorbs and works.
And it tastes really, really good too. And we have a chocolate flavor as well.
Oh yeah.
Then the next one, this is our premier ladies product.
Yes, most important for all stages of womanhood that we were speaking about. This is what you need. If you get anything else from our talk, the Purely pack that we talked about had all the nutrients, but then this one too, it has the fennel component, you're bloating, you're cramping. It has the royal jelly that we've been talking so much about. It has the iodine via kelp, natural source. So you're not going to be one of those 2 billion people that are deficient.
So it supports the adrenals and the thyroid, just like I said you needed to do. And the Purely liver, this gives you B vitamins, it gives you amino acids. That's the breakdown product of proteins, and you need those 9 essential amino acids.
You're talking about muscle building, of course, yes, supporting the liver because it has the same nutrients our liver stores. And of course, that's going to help and impact for your thyroid function. And then, it has the highest source of B12 I've ever seen. It's got over 300% per serving B12.
And nobody tells you that now, but it's been known for many, many, many years that vitamin A and vitamin D should be taken together. Everybody's giving vitamin D by itself, and that's totally wrong. It should be, they're both fat-soluble vitamins, but they need to be taken together because they support the function within the cells. So this is something that is really, really good. If you take some of this every day and you're not taking your Purely pack, some people get a little tired of the Purely pack, although it gives you everything you really need.
As a bonus, it has hyaluronic acid, which is amazing for beauty and for skin, that skin glow that we always want.
That's right. And to keep you from having those nasty wrinkles. So then we have that Purely pack we keep talking about. But this has the essential fatty acids. It has protein. It has vitamins, all the vitamins. It has minerals.
Oh my goodness.
And I use this as a meal replacement when I'm traveling and I can't find food that I will eat,
So it's just one daily packet. There's 30 packets in here. You have a 1-month supply. And this is what, when I was talking about nature's prenatal, this is what we were talking about right here.
Absolutely. And the body knows exactly what to do with it. It grabs it and it takes it to the whatever part of the body that is most needed at the time.
Okay, and then this one right here is the pumpkin seed powder, that Austrian pumpkin seed powder, easy to digest, has the top, it's a nutrition powerhouse. Actually, these go very well together. This has your top 3 minerals, including magnesium, zinc, and iron. It's also a complete protein. It has fiber, it has omega-3s. We even put some camu, that's vitamin C powder, the real thing. So I like to put this in my smoothies. It actually is very delicious. You can even pair these two powders up together if you want the ultimate effect. And then we have the actual magnesium itself. Women, you need over 300, really 300 to 500. If you're getting a little older, they've shown it's even helped, even doses as high as 500 milligrams a day for cognition and brain support. And this is the top 3 forms that Miss Judy put together. And it even has L-theanine, which can help with your alertness during the day and not have you feeling drowsy. I take about 4 capsules a day. Miss Judy, how much are you doing? What are you doing with your
I take 4 capsules a day. I take 2 in the morning and 2 at bedtime.
There you have it.
And if you are not wanting to take the Purely pack, you could take the magnesium, the liver, and also the Actifem, and you would be doing pretty good.
If bones are your focus, you can combine this with the collagen, and the bone active. So that's your bone protocol.
Yes.
Next up, thyroid support. These 2 right here, Thyroset, Nuke Protect. When would you use these and how would you use them?
Well, I do use them, and I use 2 in the morning and of each, and 2 at night.
There you go.
And it keeps me going.
That's the selenium, that's the L-tyrosine, that is the kelp, the iodine that we were speaking about in one package. Everything your thyroid actually needs to thrive. And then this is a bonus for stress, resilience, and postpartum, strength, adrenal, just thriving to the max. That would be this one, ashwagandha. And we also put royal jelly in here too, which makes it even more powerful.
Well, you know how important I think royal jelly is, so I do use it in quite a few things, because I have seen someone totally passed out and with some royal jelly in the mouth, and they were up and moving and able to function quickly. So that's how powerful it is.
So which stage are you in, and what do you need support for the most right now? You can actually reach out to us. We love to answer questions that are specific to your needs and tailor something and customize it for you. You can message us. You can call us on our customer service line. You can ask for Steven. You can also send messages. I'll give you my email. It's social@p-73.com. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to go right here to Ms. Judy.
And you know what? We have over 200 different supplements. So we're going to include a chart that lists all the various different things for the support of various different parts of the body, and for moods, for all kinds of issues that you may come up with in life. And nutritionally, you can support them and improve your life every day by taking these wonderful real food, mostly wild if I can find it, because the wild gives you more nutriture. It's more active, but it's always organic. And these are things that will help you through life and help you to be bigger, better, and happier.
There you have it.
So now, in closing, to every woman watching this, your body is incredible. It transforms, adapts, creates life, and navigates complex hormonal changes throughout your lifetime. Honor it with the nutrition and support it deserves. You need this. You deserve it. God bless you. And thank you for watching.